Hey guys, and welcome to this live stream recording. During this live stream, starting at 8 a.m. roughly, at the beginning we quickly recapped the London session. Then we tried to get into the short right at 8:15. We've been stopped out with a minor loss. Then we got into this awesome push to the upside right through New York opening at 9:30, clearing this buy side. And if you want to see me executing this trade live and also calling it out on our Discord server, the link for that is in the description below. Right now you can join the streams for free, so definitely make sure to use that opportunity. Like I said, the link for that is in the description. And now enjoy watching the show. 10 minutes early, we would consider taking a trade starting at 8 a.m., but we can quickly recap the London session and also where we are right now. So my main focus pretty much right now goes onto this 15-minute bearish fair value gap. We've traded above it. So now, if we want to deliver higher to take out the buy side, I would like to see this fair value gap to be used as support. And on the 5-minute time frame, we also have reason to believe that this area is going to hold. We have this 5-minute fair value gap right here. We have this 5-minute fair value gap that kept holding support already. And we have this little volume imbalance that hasn't been traded into. So right here, 425, here we reached our take profit target of that first trade I shared on the tape reading channel. And yeah, so we bounced off here, continued higher, left behind a new bullish fair value gap. We closed below it, and right now we're just digging inside this 15-minute. We already had 1, 2, 3, 4 wicks inside of it. This one right here, that's the one I'm referring to. And if we look on the hourly chart, we also have a big hourly fair value gap from here to here, which could be filled, but note that we also closed above it right here. So we would expect this area to hold support. But overall, I'd love to see this sell side to be hit later, maybe at New York Open. We will see how high we can deliver. We have buy side here, here, and here. Sell side with 3 equal lows right before London market open up. And sell side below first day's low actually, where we bounced off this array of fair value gaps. So on a 5-minute time frame, let's check where we are right now. So still playing inside of this area. We don't leave it so far, we didn't leave it this one time, but then we've been rejected from the support. Let's see. Not in a hurry to place a trade, but we can review the London session. And yeah, so London, we started and we saw those 2 equal lows right here, and I really wanted them to be targeted. But right here, once London opened up, we did not reach below it. We just ticked to the exact same price level, which would also be Asia's low. We took out Friday's low right here from 10:05. At the beginning of Asia. Friday. Actually, this is Friday's low. This low right here. We cleared that. We sort of did a double bottom of this level, leaving behind buy side liquidity. We reached for the sell side, but we didn't really fill it. We bounced off this inversion that kept holding support once and twice. We never closed below that. And then right here at 2:15, we had this nice bullish candle to the upside. We open up with a volume imbalance above the New York local time midnight open, which would be right here, this opening price. And yeah, we left behind equal highs, which gave me high confidence that we are going to reach for buy side. Of course, this was quite a risky trade. My entry was placed right here. That was my first entry. And the second entry I placed right here on the 50% level of this bullish fair value gap from this candle's low to this candle's high. And yeah, I've been tagged in with both contracts. And prior to the London opening, I've got a little bit scared because we closed below that 50% and we kept playing around it. It would have also been very easy for me to be stopped out. My stop loss was placed right here at the body low. I did not want to risk more than that. Yeah, but then gladly London Open delivered. It used this bullish fair value gap to deliver price higher into the buy side. Left behind once more equal highs. and eventually we managed to push through them. And we continued, we secured it, or I secured it 5 handles. I also mentioned this on a Discord server right at the beginning of London, that I'm entering this trade here. We continued to rally even for, let's measure from here, 8, 9, 10. We had this little bullish fair value gap where I tried to get a continuation set up from, but I've been stopped out here. I did not like, or I closed the position basically. I did not like this massively bearish close. But now with hindsight, of course, we know that this candle, all it was a quick run on stops. So everyone that got in long after the London Open got in long, likely maybe here. They really didn't get this long entry. So a quick stop hunt, close back inside of this inversion. So I expected shorts from here. I placed my short entry like this. My stop loss went above this level. And then I saw this volume imbalance to the upside. That's not what I would have liked to see. It's 3:45 a.m. at this candle close as well. So I was entering with 2 contracts right here on this bearish fair value gap. Didn't play out. I cut some risk once I saw this bullish volume imbalance. And yeah, the second contract I took off at this candle's high for a total drawdown of 2.25 handles after securing 5 right here. This was the second trade, and once I saw that we trade through this bearish fair value gap with a massive bullish candle, I was expecting longs, and unfortunately we didn't get a pullback. I tried to place a long before we had this price action here over to the right. I tried to get a long of this volume imbalance right here, but I didn't get filled. So I waited, and this setup I also shared it on Discord. In case we're going to continue higher, we're going to do it from here because we have this inversion, bearish fair value gap, we close above it. Now we expect support. We tapped inside of it. We had this bullish volume imbalance and also this bullish fair value gap right here from this candle's high to this candle's low. We filled it in to the tick. We had, let's say, a high probability area that we're going to bounce from this level. We also had support down here with this untapped volume imbalance. So I'm definitely going to mark this out because this has not been priced in yet. And why is it important? I'm getting to this point. Give me 1 second. Just let me drag this out. Volume imbalance. So yeah, I've got filled in here. I targeted 5 handles, which was just 1 tick above this candle's high. Took profits right here. How did we manage to move up here? We left behind a beautiful bullish fair value gap. We cleared a short-term low. You have to also say that. So we cleared a short-term low. We pumped, cleared the short-term low before we continued further to the upside. We cleared buy-side liquidity right here. With this pump, we left behind a bullish fair value gap. We closed above this 15-minute bearish fair value gap, pulled back inside of it, continued further to the upside. Here we also had a little inversion that we could have monitored to see, okay, let's say we would have gotten into this long right here as well. We would still be in the kill zone. We closed back above it, but we never got to retest into it for a continuation, but we had 2 volume imbalances right here. So overall, plenty of opportunities during this London session. A pretty decent move to the upside. In total, we had a move of, yeah, roughly 14. Let's make it 14 handles. So yeah, and that's where we are right now. We continue to deliver into buy side once more. Left behind a bullish fair value gap. We kept holding support until we didn't. We opened with a volume imbalance to the downside. So right now, we expect resistance here. We never closed back above it, and we used this inversion now to deliver further back into a short-term low. And also this unfilled volume imbalance. This is exactly the reason why I'm marking out this one, because this one also hasn't been priced in yet. We used this volume imbalance to bounce off here, deliver higher, and now we're pretty much stuck, right? It's 8 a.m. inside this 15-minute fair value gap. Bearish fair value gap, we closed above it, so now it's inversion. paired with all this 5-minute time frame confluence. So let's just see what we're gonna get. If we want to hold support here, it's not really an ideal area to enter for me. I mean, we cleared a short-term low, yes. So we could expect further delivery into buy side. We're still sort of holding this bullish fair value gap right here. We closed below it once, and since then we've just been ping-ponging inside of it. So yeah, I wouldn't really be confident in the setup, so we're just going to wait and see what we're getting. If we head over to Forex Factory, we have 9:45 PMI news, so nothing at 8:30. We should be good. Let's just see what price wants to do right here. We have this 5-minute bullish right here that kept holding us once, twice. So we definitely want to keep track of that. This inversion, we used it to bounce off here, so I'm also going to leave it on the chart. And from the higher time frame, the 15-minute chart, we have this inversion from over here, also paired with a 5-minute. We could look for further bearish fair value gaps right up here. We already touched that. This would have been a potential profit target. Buy side resting above here. We also have equal highs. So we're going to mark this up in case we're going to continue to the upside. Buy side above here. And also a bearish fair value gap on the 5-minute right here. And we also have a 5-minute fair value gap here. So far has been respected. We haven't closed above it. So, and that's pretty much everything we would have to look at getting into the session. So, if there are any questions, feel free to ask me. I've just done the markup. Yes, Dirty Ryan, 100%. So I pretty much used fair value gaps, volume imbalances, general market structure, and what candles sort of tell me to create a bias. It's not really a long-term bias. I usually scalp 5 handles if I have the opportunity. During London, we do not always get those 10-handle moves. That's pretty uncommon actually. So yeah, I'm just using it as a medium of interpretation of what price is likely going to do next. Of course, you're not going to be right 100% of the time. You're still going to have losing trades. Like for example this one, where we closed below the bullish fair value gap. We had a nice momentum candle to the downside. We could have easily delivered into those equal lows right here, or even into this bullish fair value gap, maybe get a bounce off the New York Open. So we left behind a new bearish one. I wanted to see this respected and deliver us lower. Didn't happen, but the awesome thing about this approach, the tape reading approach, is that once I see something that I don't like for example this bullish volume imbalance, I cut risk. So I entered here with 2 contracts short. I saw this bullish volume imbalance. That's not what I'd like to see. I'd like to see us maybe wick inside of it, but not but I don't want to, for price action, to print bullish signatures basically. And then right here on this candle, we closed it, had no wick to the upside. We also closed back above this bearish fair value gap, so we would now treat it as an inversion. We would expect support from it. So I don't have to fully let this trade play out until it's going to hit my stop loss. I can close it here and save myself from a tick, or maybe 2. Let me quickly check. 2 ticks. That's $25 or $50 if you're in with still 2 contracts. 100%. And most ICT traders do the mistake. It's not really a mistake. It depends on. I always want to understand why price is moving the way it does, and most ICT-Concept traders, once they start out, they always look for the one specific setup. So let's say, for example, here we continued higher. This was our most recent swing low, the short-term low, and we closed below it. So right here and there, many traders would have expected or labeled this as a market structure shift, and then they simply look for their setup with this bearish fair value gap right here for a short, and now they would be confused why we're holding up right here and why we even closed like we closed right here. So I hope that makes sense, because they most of the time leave out higher time frames, general market structure. Not really what I like to do. I used to be like that for a long time, but in this approach you're either right or wrong, and if you're wrong, you immediately know why you were wrong and you can quickly shift your bias. Sell side below this level. So far no real momentum. We do not have to engage on that. I'd say it's 50-50. We already tapped the highest fair value gap here on the 5. So yeah, this fair value gap that presented itself right at 215 with that next candle would have been the best trade setup so far. And after this entry right here, of course the short, it was viable 100%, but then we caught this long into the buy side right here with our take profit for 5 handles of, we closed above it. We had this bullish fair value gap. My main entry, my main contracts were right here. That's 4.25. I got filled with one right here, with one right here on that volume imbalance, where we had a 5 handle run right to this high. And then we continued using bullish fair value gap. So there's no reason at all to expect shorts. And we're just reading order flow and look at price action. Here we had reason to believe that we could continue lower and take out maybe those Asian lows where we have 3 equal lows, but I expect that to be hit maybe later during New York. We will see. So we're making a move. Let's see if this area can hold up. We will have one more area to support price here. This bullish fair value gap that kept holding us already to deliver price higher. Let's see how we're going to close. We cleared the short-term low. Yeah, and another reason why I like this approach more is we most of the time target buy side or sell side for our take profits, so where other traders are likely to be stopped out. And yeah, most of the time if you're using a market structure shift blah 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 approach where you always wait for specific things to occur, like let's say for example we would have cleared this low, shifted market structure, and I always set a fixed risk to reward, pretty much negating all the price action that's to the left. But yeah, it doesn't mean it's not working, 100% not. Everything works. You just gotta find your strategy or the system that suits your style and psychology the best, I would say. Whatever that is, if that's a 100% rule-based system, then that's what you should aim for. So in 5 minutes, the 15-minute candle would close below this 15-minute inversion. We cut through this short-term low. The next target we could be looking at would be this short-term low. Let me see. It's only 2.5 handles, not really worth trying to short. But maybe we could use those bullish fair value gaps right here as inversion now for a potential short if we get it. If we close below, we could also look for the inversion of this bullish fair value gap. So we just cleared another short-term low. So this could also be enough for a pullback, basically, to deliver us back into buy side. That's why we have to be cautious. This would be the next target. We could measure from our low to high so far today and see where our 50% level is sitting at. We just touched the 50%. So yeah, depending on how this candle is going to close and also the 15-minute candle, this could have been enough for a bounce. Ideally, I would have liked to see this volume imbalance to be filled. We could get an optimum trade entry to deliver us into buy side. We will see. Right now, it's nothing standing out, screaming, take me, basically. That's what you're looking for. Like, for example, this big bullish fair value gap, or when confluences of fair value gaps, volume imbalances, and stuff like that all align, we simply take the long. All right, here we have the 50%. That's 0.75 below those 3 equal lows. We filled all those bearish fair value gaps. Let me quickly check NQ. We have this high right here. We did not go above it anymore. This high, no divergence. Right now we sort of have bullish SMT right here. We haven't cleared this low on NASDAQ. NASDAQ also didn't clear Friday's low, while ES did already during Asia. Friday's low right here. But it also left behind the same fair value gap right here. We filled it in perfectly. We kept holding it as support. We had no candles closing below it. And yeah, we quickly expanded further to the upside. We also had this quick stop hunt, as we did on ES right here at 330. And yeah, we continued to deliver higher using this inversion. We close back above it. We keep holding it as support to deliver us into buy side. One time right here, second time right here, third time right here. That does actually equal highs, I think. Well, I don't trade NASDAQ anyway. Focusing on ES is enough. Alright, 30 seconds before this candle is going to close. 15-minute time frame looking good. We definitely broke this support. 1 hour time frame. Okay, this would be interesting. We have a 1 hour fair value gap right here. We just tapped into it. We could look for the 50% of this hourly fair value gap, which would be my overall target for shorts, perfectly lining up with this buy side. We have this inversion right here. That should be fine. 5 minute. So let's see. That's the hourly fair value gap. No. Yes. This would be our target for a short. We didn't close below the short-term low. We just wicked below it. Not really that keen on a short, but we could try depending what it would look like. One tick above here for a 3.25, a 1.63 risk to reward. If we continue trailing it, 5 handles into those 3 equal lows. Below the 50% of this hourly. Could be possible. What do you guys think? I'm not really that confident in the shorts yet. We just cleared enough sell side that could potentially be enough to deliver us back into buy side. trap shorts, but we could certainly try to get into a short right at 4570. One contract, two handle stop, inversion, inversion, bearish fair value gap. Let's see if we can't get in from right here. So we want to see this bearish fair value gap to act as support now, paired with all the inversions we have. We did not close below this bullish one right here. Okay, we should get filled. But this almost looks like too much momentum to me. Okay, we got filled. Perfect. Stop loss would go one tick above this right here. Buy stop. And let's just see how we're going to play inside of this one right here before we continue adding size. Paired with this one right here. Decent one. We already have this one here. That should keep holding us. Alright, let's see. Our 5-handle target would be pretty far away, but we should get enough momentum if we want to take out more sell side. We're going to do it from this bearish fair value gap paired with this volume imbalance and this 5-minute inversion. The 15-minute time frame closed below this support level. So yeah, could be feasible to target these lows maybe even. Let's just see. And pretty much listen to what price is telling us. This 5-minute fair value gap also lines up with the 3-minute chart or with the 1-minute chart. 3-minute chart also has the same fair value gap. And if we go to the 5, we have that same fair value gap. So this gives me higher confluence. 3-minute right here, 1-minute right there. Let's just see. Because on a 1-minute fractal, we had a low, cleared sell side, cleared higher time frame sell side, closed back above this candle's high, which would be a short-term high. So theoretically, we would have a market structure shift in here on the 1. So yeah, let's just say we're going to be cautious knowing that. Let's wait and see how this candle is going to close. If we were to close above the short-term high, we might consider earlier exit, but let's just see. Four, 3, 2, 1. Bullish volume imbalance? No, good. That's what we would have not liked to see. And what you can always do is use a Fibonacci tool. Draw in your quarterly ranges. So I'm pretty much using the 25, 50, 75. And then I'm using the 50% of each fair value gap. That should hold resistance. As we can see, 50%, we touched it. We've been rejected. If we get a close above it, you would treat that like you would treat a new week opening gap, for example, a big one, or a new day opening gap. Or if you've got a hourly fair value gap or a 15 that's bigger, or like, for example, this 5-minute fair value gap, what you could do, or at least what I'm always doing, I'm using this quarterly range tool to see, okay, how are we actually trading inside this bigger fair value gap, using each quarter as its own little section inside of the fair value gap. Let's see, let's go back to the 3-minute, open with a bullish volume imbalance. The 1-minute, well, this market structure shift could actually play out. We will see. Close above this bearish fair value gap, and I would close the position basically without having lost much. Are there any questions regarding this trade? Pretty obvious, I thought so. You managed to close the London session in profit after this long ride here? Nice. That's how it's done. It was a little bit scary. I mean, yeah, we used this bullish fair value gap, but then we had this rejection to the downside once more after closing above this old bearish fair value gap that should have kept holding us ideally, but all we did really was clearing the short-term low to fuel the run into buy side, basically. Then we had this beautiful whip to the upside that hasn't been traded into, and we continue to deliver. I had my stop loss, I think, before I left to the gym, below this candle, and my take profit target one tick above here. So, playing out nice. Yeah, I know we're inside this bigger 1 hour fair value gap, but if I cover that in, that's the 50% of that hourly fair value gap is the high of this candle. Old buy side, if we go to the 5. Buy side we targeted during London at the beginning based on this fair value gap. So if we get down to this level, we will see what's going to happen. If you remember, I drew up the quarterly range from this low to this high, so our current daily range, and that's exactly the 50% level. I can quickly do that again. We touched the 50% and we've rejected of it, leaving behind this bearish fair value gap, so we could see a continuation into discount. I'm just set at this old high. Doesn't really make that much of a difference because it's just the Asian session high. So yeah, no, it's just a 50% level of our current daily range. That's all it is. Mm. 3-minute chart. 1-minute chart. So we filled this 1-minute volume imbalance. If we are going to break this candle's high, I would expect long continuation over the short, to be really honest. We have this bearish fair value gap. If we manage to close above it, we also have our market structure shift set up right here on the 1. But we get plenty of those on a 1-minute time frame, so easier sticking to the 5, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. 5-minute. Bearish fair value gap, closed above it, closed below it, resistance here, volume imbalance. Buy side, buy side, buy side. Theoretically a market structure shift. Pullback into optimum trade entry around here, paired with this inversion. Kept holding resistance, cleared a short-term high to eventually deliver us lower. So this, yeah, like said, before we even took this trade, this could be enough because we already reached the 50% level. That's weird. That's just the reason why we're keeping a close eye on this bearish fair value gap, because we could use it. If the short is not playing out, I'd flip my bias and try the long of it. I know we still have this inversion right here. 50% level would be right here. Now let's just see. Stop making dubious assumptions. This one right here, yeah. Didn't want to drag it out. I know we're still inside even this inversion right here. This area kept holding us previously. We cleared the low, so yeah, that's just why even the 1 minute market structure shift holding off or bounce off this whip would be viable because we're in old support. Yes, we would need a close below quite a few levels. 8:25, 2.5 more minutes to go. The past 1 to 15 minutes, we've been printing inside bars. We haven't extended the range of this candle if we only look at candle bodies. Alright, we're starting to get a push. But we got a pretty decent entry here of this volume imbalance. So if we close above, we might take a 2 tick, maybe 3 tick stop loss, which is not too bad really. Ideally, like to see a close below here now. Unfilled volume imbalance. Like right here, unfilled volume imbalance, wicked inside of it. Continued to take a short-term high. 1 minute to go. We do not have 8:30 news, so we should be fine. Shouldn't be too volatile. Thirty seconds to go. Also on the 15. Then we would leave behind this 15-minute fair value gap bearish if we leave it like this. Our stop is still above this high or right at this high so far. Alright, so we left behind this bearish fair value gap on the 15 now. So we would like to see us hold within this 15-minute fair value gap. We're on the 5 right now. This is the 15. This is the bearish 5-minute. We are right at the high of this candle, so let's see. Alright, we're stopped out. Of course, we could still continue lower from this area, but right now my focus would go to the long. Since we cleared the sell side, the short didn't play out. We have a 1-minute market structure shift setup right here after clearing sell side. Let's see if we get a close above this 50% here with that next 5-minute candle. 3 more minutes to go. Let's check the 3 minute. 1 minute. Fair value gap, 1 minute kept holding. Deliver us higher. Let's just wait and see. But we could be using, if we get the close above, we could go long of this. But this depends on you. If you feel like we could get a long continuation after clearing short-term lows, before we maybe at 9:30 reverse, make a Judas to the downside, clear up all this liquidity, and then continue to deliver back to the upside. I would certainly try the long off here. That's the 15. I'm gonna be back in a sec. Alright, there we are, 30 seconds left. This is not really a 100% long setup, because we could still frame the short at the same time of this inversion. Not like the setup right here. Easy long. So let's see, I'm trying the long for the purpose of the stream. Entry right here on the inversion. 2 handle stop. And I would target 5 handles. Let's see if we even get our fill, because we keep on pushing right here. 3 minute time frame. Nope. Build the hourly bullish fair value gap. 15, 5 minute keeps pushing. What's the time? It is 8:35. So we have a little bit of time left until 9 a.m. New hourly candle. 8 a.m. delivered into sell side, starting to reverse from here. So let's see the 8:30 opening price. Let's see if we get our tag. And I hope it also makes sense that we close this short right at this candle's high. Of course, we could still use the inversion, but risk to reward rise, we entered right here. Our stop loss maybe above this high. Our target maybe the 50% of the hourly fair value gap. Not really an ideal risk to reward. Of course, we could have targeted much lower, but this would have very likely become a high resistance run, high resistance liquidity run. But now we cleared enough sell side, which could easily power up this long. 1 minute. Already filled in sort of this fair value gap. Right now on the upper one. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ also cleared this low, but it didn't clear. Did it? Yep, they're currently in sync. So there's no SMT between them. I would up my entry to here, or maybe add a second contract if we leave this 5-minute fair value gap open. One more minute to go. Matt, are you still in this short from earlier, or are you already planning to go long? Yeah, volume imbalance, beautiful. Volume imbalance above the 50%. Just for demonstration purpose, I do not care too much about this Apex account. We could use a volume imbalance entry. Ideally, we would like to take them once they are confirmed, so we would wait for this 5-minute candle to close. On a 1-minute time frame, that works better. This would be the aggressive entry for a delivery into buy side. I place it right at the close of this candle. My next scale in entry would be right here, this 5-minute fair value gap. Let's see if we even get tagged in here. Yeah, but this would be a bullish signature. You wouldn't want to be holding through this, still being in a short, leaving behind bullish fair value gaps. All right, we're filled with our volume imbalance entry. Let's see how that's going to play out. That's a high risk entry, 100%, because we have more discounts below us. Also on the 15, we seem to be closing above our bearish fair value gap. Just dragging this out. So we want this 5-minute candle to close above this level. Maybe tag us in with the second contract right here. Okay, we're tagged in. But ideally we want to see a close above this level. Yeah, that's great. It's my practice try to wait as well. Okay, so we filled this bullish fair value gap. We want this to hold. If we get a close below, I'm out. We also tapped the inversion right here. But if we're closing below this, yeah, we could pretty much flip to a short again. This might look a little bit random, but yeah. It is only if you can't make sense out of it. Let's say it like this. We want a... Okay, this is not looking too great. So this volume imbalance entry was pretty aggressive. But we've still got 2 minutes left. Let's see. We also filled a 3-minute fair value gap. Bearish volume imbalance. That's not ideal. 1 minute time frame. We filled this fair value gap. Left behind a bearish one. So let's see how price is going to deliver. 15 minute. We ideally would like to close above this bearish fair value gap, which would be this level. Yeah, I'm not planning on holding the trade until 10 a.m. So I'm not really considering myself liquidity. News gonna be happening right over here. I know it's not too far away, so I would also be quick to, for example, get out with my first contract and then trail my stop loss. But this is likely the last trade I'm going to take before I'm going to wait until 9:30 if this is not playing out. 40 seconds to go. Rejection wick of this inversion on the 5. We do not want to for price to close below 4, 5, 7. Ideally a rejection wick and leave this volume imbalance open, but we do not always get what we ask for. Yeah, on some days it's like this. The last 2 live streams I've done starting at 8 a.m. we had beautiful moves. Just part of it. If we would have seen a bearish volume imbalance there, I would have closed the trade. We closed in this bearish volume imbalance right here. 1 minute. Inside this bearish fair value gap now. 15 minute. Rejection wick. Not ideal, to be honest. But let's see. We can get rid of this volume imbalance because it has been closed in. Ideally, when we get into a aggressive entry like with a volume imbalance, I would have already closed once this candle is closing, because for my ideal volume imbalance entry, I would have liked to see something like this. Let's say we saw this retest of this bullish fair value gap. We got back outside of it and we open with a volume imbalance. And we would have gotten in the same way with an aggressive entry. Our entry right here at the close of this candle. And this candle stayed like this. The gap remained open. Then you can keep on holding. But if the gap is being closed in, that's usually not the best side. Or like right here, we closed, we took out buy side, volume imbalance, we get in right here, we continue, but it remained open. That's the important part. We got in on this one right here, and it didn't remain open. So yeah, maybe closing out the first contract wouldn't be the worst idea. Good morning, Agent Smith. If we go below this candle slow, I'm getting out of the first contract, cutting some risk. Took out short-term low already. Yeah, this one, or those ones. The shorts, the long's not looking ideal, to be really honest. We're still inside this 15. We didn't close above it. But let's see, this could still hold. Because we're still in this bullish fair value gap right here. Paired with this inversion and with that volume imbalance. Three-minute bearish fair value gap. One minute as well. We filled in the 1 minute bullish fair value gap right here. So if we keep following this 1 minute structure, we should continue higher. That's why stop loss below the low to get out at least on our first contract. For take profits, we take our profit right here for 5 handles with one contract, and the other contract I'm likely getting out, say halfway. 3 handles 3.5, 2 handles 2.25, 2.5. Let's just see. Bullish volume imbalance, that's what we would like to see. And we would also like to see this one to remain open. Takes a little while on a 5 minute really. You can do the same thing on the 1 minute time frame, but of course that's going to be a lot faster. You have a much faster response time, but yeah. You're also able to make more errors because on the 1 minute, yeah, structure like this prints way more often. So let's just see. If we keep this open and close above this candle's high, maybe even take out the set of equal highs right here, equal highs right here, this should hold support. All right. We close in this 1 minute bearish fair value gap. This inversion right here. Let's see if we can hold. We also have this 1 minute fair value gap. Ideally, we close above this level. So this bearish 15-minute fair value gap becomes an inversion. But we will see. We frame it off the 5. If this fair value gap is also being closed in, and we close, let's say, below here, I cut some risk. Getting closer and closer to 9 AM. And so far, all this has been just really chop. And we don't want to lose too much during choppy hours. So let's see. It's funny how this price right here is way more accurate than the candles you see on TradingView. Theoretically, we should be at break even. Right now we're here. This might also be spread. Let's check out what Nasdaq is doing. Right here, low. Looks more like a short to me. 1.5 minutes left. Ideally, we would like this to remain open. And if we then get a close below it, we treat it like a fair value gap. This inversion, this bullish fair value gap kept on holding so far. Paired with this inversion, we tapped inside of it. We had one entry right here on this volume imbalance, and the other entry was right here. Yep. "40 seconds to go." Let's see. All right. Already one tick down. We have to wait for one more 5-minute candle for the next 15 to close, which then would be the new hourly candle. All right, 20 seconds. Let's see if this remains open. 3 minute. 1 minute. 10. 5. It remained open. Nice. So we have a new discount that has been left behind, where we would like to see support from. Same as this one pretty much. Close below it, cut some risk. If price wants to reprice higher and do it efficiently, this should hold. We tapped inside of it, and now we're pushing. Eight delivered lower, 8 till 9, pullback, 9 till 10. So with that next 5-minute candle close, if we get a close above this level right here, where we have our entry, we would flip this 15-minute bearish fair value gap into an inversion. So beautiful delivery of this volume imbalance. This could have also been, so this is pretty much the entry we would be looking for. So right here we saw the high risk entry when the volume imbalance has not been confirmed yet. Right here with this candle close, the volume imbalance has been confirmed. If you want to play it safe, you place your entry at the high of the volume imbalance, because we do not always get filled. If we place it right here at the low, this would have been a close call, and maybe with luck you would have been filled. But this volume imbalance now has been confirmed, and we can use it like a fair value gap, but just a little bit more aggressive, I would say. But it's always good to have volume, or to master volume imbalance entries and to really get the hang of it, because then you have another opportunity to enter into a aggressive trend other than fair value gaps, because most of the time with fair value gaps you need proper pullbacks, like for example this one here. But getting into a continuation of a volume imbalance usually is the easier entry. It doesn't require that much of a pullback. So if we're in a strong move, like for example Here we didn't even fill it. We've been so bullish. We didn't even touch this candle's close. Good example. Right here, we open up, we filled it, delivered lower. Nah, no good example on the chart right now. 3 more equal highs. Like to see those to be run. Roughly 2 more minutes left. Let's see. Alright, my stop loss for both contracts. No, I'm not going to do it like this. I'm going to use a sell stop for the second contract right here. And I'm going to keep trailing them. Our first entry was off this level right here. If we manage to close above this level or take out this buy side, I would move my stop loss to body low. Maybe even break even. Alright, 1 minute left. 15-minute chart is pushing as well. We might even get to close above our inversion. Running for buy side maybe. After clearing short-term low, short-term low, short-term low. 1 minute bullish market structure shift. Okay, yep, there we go. We cleared buy side. We seem to be getting a pretty strong close, so I keep trailing my stop. We just tapped this candle's high, or those 2 equal highs. 10 seconds left. So far, this is also going to be a 15-minute candle close. If we close above this inversion, that's what we would have liked to see. Initially, we got in on the short, been proven wrong, so we flip our bias. We get on this fair value gap. We got an early entry right here. But yeah, hopefully you understood why we took this entry. Part of learning. Perfect entry would have been right here. But let's see. So we have 4 equal highs right now. This down close candle should support price. So we could extend this out. Hmm. 15-minute. On a 15-minute, we would have immediate rebalance right now. So we do not give it a chance to leave behind a fair value gap. We price this in. Now we would expect delivery further to the upside. If you have any questions regarding immediate rebalance or any of the stuff pretty much anything I'm talking about here, feel free to ask. Hmm. 1 minute, keeps pushing higher, equal highs, bearish for value gap, buy side. This would be the 5-minute immediate rebalance. Inversion. A inversion fair value gap is a fair value gap that has been flipped. Let me find a good example for it. Nah, that's a bullish one. Here, right, that's a pretty good example. So we had initially, this was during the London session, we had this bearish fair value gap, and we had a pretty strong down closing candle. We closed below our 5-minute bullish fair value gap. So right here, after closing below it, this becomes an inversion because it has not been respected. This is pretty much the whole concept. So we have a inversion paired with a 5-minute bearish fair value gap. I tried a short of this level right here, but as we can see, neither this inversion nor this bearish fair value gap has been respected. Neither has this bullish fair value gap at this point in time before we close back above it has been respected, and we managed to close above where? Above this bearish fair value gap. So now I expect to see support of this bearish fair value gap. What do? We cut through this bearish fair value gap, not just with a momentum shifting candle, also with no wick to the upside, but we also leave behind a new bullish fair value gap inside of this old bearish fair value gap, which now has become an inversion fair value gap right here. Stack confluence with this volume imbalance for delivery higher. Does this make sense? So, or for example, we could go on the 15 and maybe I find a good example from yesterday or last week. Yeah, exactly. So for example, right here, if we go back to the 5, we had this. So yeah, and I put more weight on fair value gaps that already kept supporting price, like this one right here. You see this fair value gap. We kept supporting price to deliver into buy side. We dropped down, kept supporting price, and now we close below it. So at this point in time, it becomes an inversion and we would expect resistance. It didn't play out. We already tried a short of this level right here paired with this bearish fair value gap, and we've been stopped out right here at this candle's high. Just another way. So let's say, for example, you don't have any bullish fair value gaps available to you. Let's say, for example, to continue with the long, but you have an old bearish fair value gap that has been traded through. You could use this as support to frame your long idea. Pretty much like the repair fair value gap in ICT's last video he uploaded. An old bearish fair value gap that has been traded through a couple of times and yeah, flipped into inversion. Alright, 5-minute candle close. We haven't broken this high just yet. We left behind a tiny little discount. Keeping track of that. The inversion is not really that important to me anymore. I'd like to get a clean view on price action. Alright, let's see. Do we hold support here? We should if we want to continue to deliver to the upside. If we manage to close below that, yeah, I'd be careful. But we seem to be getting a nice rejection of it. Let's check the 3-minute time frame. No fair value gap here, but we have an inversion. Let's check the 1 minute. Tiny little fair value gap here, but we seem to be getting a pretty good push. That just confirms to me that we still in bullish order flow. If price would not respect this and continue to close below it, this would be the first sign that, yeah, we might saw the end of this small little pullback. But if we keep respecting discounts, there's no reason for us to believe right now that we're bearish. If we just look at this little price action right here, low, lower high, lower low, we left behind bearish fair value gaps. What happened? We did not respect them at all. We left behind new bullish fair value gaps, which we would not really like to see during bearish order flow. If we still expect a short from here, we respect bullish fair value gaps. Not a bad sign for shorts. We continue to deliver higher, leaving more discounts behind, like this fair value gap right here. We reached the high, so let's just see if we can break above it. I would be surprised if we wouldn't. 148, 905. I'd be considering a first partial earlier, to be really honest, because we're getting closer and closer to market open, and we're slowly pushing to the upside. So I'm going to place my partial for now. I might still move that around above this candle's high. 1 minute left. Ideally, we would like to close. Okay, now we have to wait a little bit for this to close. 1 hour, bullish up close. 30 seconds to go. Yeah, 9:45 PPI news. Pretty sure we mentioned that at the beginning of the stream. Where do we have it? Yeah, PMI news, 9:45. Alright, so we still respected it. We didn't close below it. So let's just see what price is going to do. I'm going to be back in a sec. Everything's looking alright. Stop, sell limit. Alright. Still looking good. It's always that first look at your screen when you come back from the toilet and you're like, I hope it didn't close below that fair value gap. Well, it didn't. Bouncing within that range, leaving equal highs, equal lows. But so far, I'd be surprised if we wouldn't take that buy side. Alright, we touched it. Let's see if we can get the wick above it. Nope. 6 equal highs now. But we still respect the discounts, so nothing to worry about so far. It is 9:10. That's the only thing to maybe worry about. What we could do, let's say we take our partial right here at this high, or maybe even earlier. So around 920, I would really consider to, so that's 2 more candles, maybe even close the position, or at least leave one position open, one contract, place my stop at break even, and target buy side. Or we just be happy, content with enough. I think we lost, how many handles did we lose on that initial short idea? We got in right here on this volume imbalance, stopped out right here. That's 5 ticks. 5 ticks times 12.5. We were with one contract. That's 62.50. So we would have already recovered our drawdown, but that's not really what we're aiming for. If you want to get out of this trade prior to market open and all that stuff and all the news, you can pretty much place your first sell limit right here. Or maybe one tick above it. Still from here we had a 2 handle, 2.25 handle, and from our other entry right here, 2.5 handles, 2.75, almost 3 handles, not too bad. But I'd really like to see this push to the upside. I mean, this is just horrific. The only thing I don't like trading with trader weight or with those Apex accounts is that if my sell limit is being filled right here, it's very likely going to take out the contract that has been filled at this level. I would prefer that it's going to take out the contract from this entry right here, where we expected a continuation of this volume imbalance. Let's just see. If we manage to close above here, I would consider trailing my stop one tick below the slow. Come on. Another 5-minute candle close right there. Come on. But don't complain. $9.15. Let's see if we can push one tick above it. Yeah, it looks like resistance, 100%. We've got resistance here in this red box. It's, I don't know, support and resistance traders, depending on how they look at price action, they pretty much do this. Okay, my order has been filled. Well, platform of the year, TradingView, what are you doing? Thanks for being so super fast. There we go. Alright, we cleared buy side. We secured profits. We're in with one more contract. I would place my stop loss now below this candle. Full target at 5 handles. We should get the delivery inside of that. Here's our first buy side target. Really, this take profit was kind of unnecessary, but I mean, it's fair. It's 9:10. In 20 minutes, we have the New York Open. 50 minutes after that, even before 10 a.m. So for the New York Open, we could get a one-sided run. Depending, we might even get this prior to the New York Open. I mean, we're pushing now. Nice to see. So yeah, I'd pretty much stay away until 10 a.m. at least. Maybe try to find a nice 5-minute or even 1-minute, whatever you prefer to do, a silver bullet setup between 10 and 11. If we manage to clear this buy side, I would be interested to see how we're going to use this 5-minute fair value gap right here. Maybe we flip it to support, so we're going to make an inversion out of it, and we use it to continue to deliver higher. We had Asia consolidation, London expansion, rollover period, we had a pullback, and we continued to expand during beginning of New York, so we could get a high of the day reversal setup. Wouldn't be too far away. So question is, should we take profit right here on the buy side, or should we be greedy and take profit here? How many ticks would that be? 4 ticks, 1 handle would be a 6 handle take profit target. Yeah, greedy or not? I'm greedy, fuck it. We already secured our stops and profit. I mean, we might as well. Of course, this is for education purpose only, not because I'm greedy or something. So I can showcase, yeah, that New York Open, that bloody New York Open. 139, we cleared the SPY side. If we get the close above this old bullish fair value gap, flipped into resistance. We managed, since we closed below this bullish fair value gap, we managed to keep holding it as resistance. We never had a candle closing above it. So if we get that on this candle, yeah, I assume it too. Stop loss right here in profit. Tape reading, nice. 3 out of 3. Okay, last Thursday we had a clear winner. Friday we had a quick winner, but no one was watching or joining in. On Monday we had one loss, a tiny loss, 61.25 plus commissions with one contract that should be $70 drawdown. We already secured from here until one tick above that, 10 ticks. We lost 6 right here, so we're up 4 ticks. From here till here, 5, we're up 5 ticks. Yes, we also had a loss, but we would have, yeah, we're in good profit, let's say it like this. We lost 62.50, so right now we're $100 in profit, and we already secured our first contract. Bearish volume imbalance, not ideal. It is 920. And this is really how it goes. You take that initial loss, and depending on the day, the initial trade maybe would have played out, and you wouldn't have taken that loss. But then most of the time, the second trade is the one that's going to deliver. And if that not, the third one. And we understand why. At least we have a framework to, yeah, base our trade on. Not ideal. Stop losses below this. Just at this low. Give it one tick. So right now I'm in 5 ticks profit. We lost 5 here. We made 10 of this entry right here. If we get stopped out, then overall we would be in stopped out right here. That's pretty stupid, 3 ticks. But let's just see what that candle is going to do with us. Cleared buy side, quite the rejection here on the 15. 3 minute. 1 minute. Also quite the rejection. If you want, you can close your position. It's 9:20. Secure your profits before New York Open, and we'd be good. I'm gonna leave it like this. Gonna give it some more breathing room, because I'd still expect this buy side to be taken. And I don't want to be tapped out by 1 tick. I prefer getting the full break even or nothing. Or my, yeah, 6-handed target. Alright, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I have to prepare some more things before I get ready for the New York Open. And yeah, depending on if you're in the straight even, stop loss either one tick below this candle, but you might as well just place it at break even. Those 3 ticks, they don't really make a difference. And we have still the potential to deliver into more buy side. We're 5 minutes away roughly from New York opening, and we have news at 9:45, so we see how that goes. If I see a nice setup between 10 and 11 of a 5-minute fair value gap, I make sure to share it in the ASAT analysis channel. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the stream, and if there are no more questions, I would end the stream here and there. I would upload it later on YouTube. Alright guys, take care and enjoy the rest of your session and make sure to trade safe. We already secured some here, depending if you secured. I wish I wouldn't have taken my first partial right here. Instead, I would have liked to leave it right there where it was, but yeah, part of it. Alright guys, take care. So yeah guys, over the end of the stream, we saw that our buy side objective has been met right at 9:30. So we secured our profit at the buy side target. We mapped out right here. We just cleared this short-term low one more time. That's the reason why I moved my stop to break even instead of moving it 1 tick below this candle's low, because I've been stopped out so many times by putting my stop slightly in profit. Now I'm getting stopped out, missing out on the whole move. I don't care about those 2 ticks profit really, so I just place my stop at break even. So it's either break even or take profit. I waited for the New York market open and it hit our take profit target. And some of our Discord members hit their take profit target as well. Very simple. Alright guys, make sure to join us on Discord, and until tomorrow.